All right, boys, this will be take two. Just recorded the video and the software crashed. So this will be my second attempt at the video. Just make sure it's recording. Yeah, it looks like it is. Just double check that. Yeah. All right. So parallel lines and bearings. Now, in year 7, you would have looked at something called alternate angles and parallel lines. So let's have a look. I've got a pair of alternate angles here. So alternate angles are equal on parallel lines. So that means this angle here, theta, is equal to this angle here, theta. Right? And if you're wondering what are alternate angles are between the parallel lines. Okay, so here you can see, I'm just going to trace over the parallel lines there, right? Okay, you can see that arrow there. Right, so the pink lines are parallel, and the black line remaining that crosses those pink lines is called the transversal. So alternate angles are between the parallel lines and on different sides of the transversal. Okay, so this line here, this red line here, which I'm going to trace over, that red line there is called the transversal. All right, transversal. Okay, now here's another pair of alternate angles, and they're also equal. All right, so alternate angles on parallel lines are equal. How do you identify them? Well, alternate angles are between the parallel lines and on different sides of the transversal. Now, the other way you can identify them is by tracing around the angles. So if I just trace around, let's just change the thickness of this a little bit. Here we go. If I trace around the first angle, here we go. If I trace around that angle there, and I trace around the second angle, they join up to form a Z shape or a back to front Z. If you look at both diagrams, one will be the normal Z and one will be back to front. So if I trace around this angle, I trace around the other angle, they join up to form that Z shape. Okay, so that's important to be aware of. So alternate angles are equal. Now let's see how this works with bearings. Okay, so now we're going to draw a diagram. It says point B has a bearing of 0.55 degrees from A. Okay, so we're going to draw a compass because it says sketch a diagram. All right. Now the bearing is being taken from A. So that means that that means you've got the bearing being taken from A. So A is at the center. Now this is going to be our north line, and it says 0.55 degrees. Now I know up to here is 90 degrees, and I know that north is 0 degrees. So 55 degrees will be somewhere out here somewhere, and that's where B is. Okay, so there's our 55 degree angle, just there. Okay, now so we've done the first part. The second part says using the sine diagram, determine the bearing of A from B. Now, because the bearing's been taken from B this time, we've got to now draw a second compass in at B. Okay, just missed there. I have to move that a little bit higher. There you go. Move that across as well. There we go. So there's my other compass, and we have to use that now to work out the bearing of A from B. So that means you're standing at B now, okay, because the direction is from B. So you're standing here, and you've got to work out this direction. Now we know that this is north, and we need to work out the, we actually need to identify an alternate angle, don't we? Because we need to work out this angle in here. Okay, this is south. So if this is 55 degrees, this is alternate to that. So that's also 55 degrees. Just to show you that, if I trace around the angles, I get that Z shape, don't I? Trace around that. There's the Z shape. Okay, so you can see the 55 degree angle pair. So now I've identified the alternate angle, I can work out what my bearing is. So the direction of A from B is south. Okay, A is definitely south of B. It's going to be south, and then 55 degrees west. Okay, so south, 55 degrees west. Okay, now we could also do a three-figure bearing. The three-figure bearing would be clockwise from north. Okay, now how would you work that out? Let me just get the 90 out of the way for a minute. We know up to the south line is 180 degrees. Okay, 180 plus 55 is 235. So that's the three-figure bearing. Okay. All right, copy that down and let's have a look at number 2. It says point C has a bearing of 210 degrees from D. Sketch a diagram to show this. All right, so let's draw a compass again. All right, now it says the bearing is being taken from D. So it means the center of your compass is going to be D, just here. Now, this is your north line. Now it says the bearing of C from D is 210. Now, I know up to here is 90. I'm doing clockwise. This is obviously 0. This is 180. And this is 270. So 210 will be out here somewhere. Okay? So this angle here is 210 degrees. All right. Now, so that's a direction that C is from D. Okay, so you're standing at D. Now, we've done the first part, which is sketch the diagram. Part C says using the same diagram, determine the bearing of D from C. And because the bearing's been taken from C now, I've got to draw a second compass in at C. Okay, so just drawing that in there. And we're going to now put the north arrow there. That's north. And we've got to identify a pair of alternate angles. Now you can see here that this angle there, this angle here are alternate. So we need to work out the size of this angle. Now we know it's 210 all the way around to the ray, and we know it's 180 up to this point. Okay, so 210 minus 180 is 30. So that angle in there, let's get rid of that for a minute. That is 30 degrees, which means this angle here is 30 degrees. Okay, so now I can work out, so from C, what is the direction of D now from C? Well, the direction is going to be north 30 degrees, and this is the easterly direction, isn't it? So north 30 degrees east, or okay, three-figure bearing would be 0, 3, 0 degrees. The three-figure bearing is the clockwise angle from north as 3 digits. Okay. All right, copy that down and let's have a look at question number 3. It says point C has a bearing of south 30 degrees east from D. Sketch a diagram to show this. So let's do that. So we're going to draw the compass first. Yep. It's meant to be vertical, roughly. All right. Let me just fix up that line. So that's a bit... Oh, that's not good, is it? So let's try that, drawing that line again. Okay. Okay, that's more vertical. All right. And south 30 degrees east will be somewhere down here. All right, how did I know that? Well, you can work it out by just labeling a diagram first. So the bearing is taken from D. There it is, from D. This is north, this is south, this is east, and this is west. Okay, so, and this direction here is C. So south 30 degrees east means that this angle here is 30 degrees. South, face south, and then rotate 30 degrees east. So we've done that part, the diagram. It says using the same diagram, determine the bearing of D from C. So you need to draw another compass in at C now, because the direction or the bearing has been taken from C. You're going to have to identify a pair of alternate angles again. So how do we do that? Well, there's your north line. Here's your other north line. So they're your parallel lines. And that's 30 degrees in there. So this must be 30 degrees in here as well. Okay. So the direction of D from C is north 30 degrees west, or if you use the three-figure bearing, you can work out the clockwise angle from north. So 360 minus 30 is 330 degrees. Okay, let's do one more. Okay, so point P has a bearing of north 40 degrees west from Q. So we're going to, again, draw our compass in. There it is. And should we just make that line a little bit more vertical? Okay, that's better. And north 40 degrees west will be north, and then 40 degrees west will be here somewhere. Okay, so let's label the north line first. North is here, west is here. The bearing is taken from Q, which means the center of your compass is Q, and the direction of P from Q is north 40 degrees west. So that angle there is 40 degrees. So you've done the first part there. Second part says to work out the bearing of Q from P. So because it's from P now, I've got to draw a second compass in at P. Here it is. Okay. Now, from there, you've got to identify a pair of parallel lines. So obviously there is north. So there is north. There's your parallel lines there. Now, we need to work out this angle here. Now, this is 40 degrees, and this is alternate to that. So there's 40 in there. And this is the south direction, don't forget. So the bearing of Q from P, so this is the direction you're looking for, will be south. So you're standing at P now and facing towards Q. So south 40 degrees and in the easterly direction. Okay, so let's write that down. South, and then 40 degrees east. Okay, and then if you wanted to work out a three-figure bearing, you'd have to work out the clockwise angle from north, that angle there. So it'll be 180 minus 40, which is 140 degrees. Okay, so that is it.